Now we are going to begin with the meditative prayer now. You all can please repeat after me. Hare Krishna. You can show this slide. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. So this mantra has a very simple meaning. It simply means, "Oh Lord, please purify me, uplift me, accept me." That's the meaning. Please purify me, uplift me, accept me. In that mood, this mantra should be sung. When I sing, you all will hear after me. And when I stop, you will sing after me. Okay? You can show the slide. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Jai. So this chanting of this Mahamantra is extremely famous in the Western world, as you all know. Yoga and this mantra has both become the most attractive practice for all the yogis in the West. And this mantra was taught by Lord Chaitanya 500 years ago. And through this, he could bring people out of all kinds of bad habits and self-destructive habits, and offer them the gift of love of God. So it's a very simple method. Just sing the mantra and hear it attentively. So now you have learned how to do kirtan. So you all can do it yourself. So today we are going to the fourth session. This is the topic for today. Align with the sacred Lord, not with one's crooked thoughts. So the previous session involved many discussions, due to which we missed out discussing on this one, the third session, a little bit from me to we consciousness. I'll show you a little bit and then we proceed with the fourth one. So, in the previous session I told you, although Lord Sri Krishna is a supreme divinity, in Gita he himself says that he is the source of all the material and spiritual worlds, and from him everything emanates, and he is there present as the super soul in the heart of all living beings, by the side of the soul. So just like two birds sitting in a tree, analogy is given in the Upanishads. One bird is a fruit-eating bird, another one is a silent bird. The fruit-eating bird is all of us. We all taste bitter fruits and sweet fruits. The other silent bird is God, sitting by our side and watching what we are doing and smiling at us. We just have to turn to Him. When we turn to Him, we become awakened. So Lord Krishna says that in 13th chapter of Gita. So, although He is the greatest of all beings, the supreme being, He becomes a charioteer of His own devotee, Arjuna, as you see in the picture here. And this conversation between Krishna and Arjuna happened in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, about which a little background I gave you before. You will see further. So, in the last class, we devoted some time to understanding how Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So, in the Gita, he declares that to Arjuna. And as you see in the picture here, he showed the universal form in the 11th chapter of Gita. Last time I showed you also Krishna opening his mouth to Mother Yashoda and showing the universes within his belly. And I elaborated this verse, Ishvara Paramakrishna, last time, which means he's a supreme being, a supreme entity. There is no one equal to him, there is no one above him. You see, all religions talk of a God. Actually, when you talk about God, it is not that every religion has a different God. That would be a very foolish proposal, as if gods are fighting for some supremacy. Actually, all religions are talking about the same God only. Maybe different ways the understanding of God is presented. Some religions present that God is ultimate. If you don't surrender to Him, He will punish you. That is out of fear, which is the lowest motivator. Higher than that, some religions present God as, someone who can fulfill all your demands and desires. He's the father of everybody. You just go to Him and show Him the list, He will provide you. He's the provider or order supplier. That is better than fear, but that is still not the greatest understanding of God. The third understanding of God is out of duty. Why should I go and ask God for anything? He has done so much for me. Let me just go to temple to thank Him. So that kind of understanding is out of duty. And that is superior to going and demanding things from God. But the highest understanding of God is out of pure love. One feels that He is my supreme friend. He is my supreme beloved. He is my mother, He is my father, He is my friend, He is my wealth, He is my education, He is be all and end all for me. I simply love Him. And whatever I possess, I will use it in His glorification. And everything I possess is His. He has provided me. And even I belong to Him. This kind of understanding is the highest understanding, which is called love of God. So fear, desire, duty, love. Or we call it as fear, greed, gratitude, love. Like that we call it. Love is the highest. So Arjuna was one such devotee of Krishna who had the pure love for Krishna. So when we are in pure love with God, then God also wants to serve His devotee. Just like sometimes you might have seen a father takes a small boy, a kid, on his back, and he himself rides like a horse. You can see that. Just like I heard about one president of a country whose name was Gladstone. So there were 200-300 people waiting to meet him outside. And the door was slightly open. One man saw, what is the president doing for the last 2 hours? So he slightly opened the door and saw inside. And to his great laughter, he saw that the president was taking his own son on his back and riding, giving a joyride to him like a horse. So why would president of a country do that? Because he's in love with his son. So he's ready to allow his son to sit on his back. So we have heard that the living beings serve God, understanding God is supreme. But God also serves living beings in reciprocation. So that is the highest understanding of God. You all may be knowing in America, there was one Nietzsche who said God is dead. So many people thought that Nietzsche is an atheist. He wasn't. He was not an atheist. Nietzsche further wrote, God is dead. I only believe in a dancing God. He wrote that, which means he's talking about a God of love who sings, who dances, who is friendly, who becomes subservient to his devotees. So I don't know whether Nietzsche heard about Lord Krishna. If he heard about Krishna, he will be impressed, because Krishna is one such Lord who plays on his flute, who sings, who dances, and who becomes servant of his own devotees. What to speak of Arjuna in a place called Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna performs his pastimes. He becomes even friendly to the peacocks and monkeys and even cows and calves. That's a very high, pure platform of love. So here, now we are entering into the first chapter. Today I will be reciting many shlokas. If you find them difficult, don't worry. The Sanskrit may sometimes be sounding difficult, but you don't have to worry. You will be getting the understanding of the meaning. You can repeat after me. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samavetaayuyutsavah mamakah pandavaschaiva kim akurvata sanjaya. I have already told the background of this war. Some of you, if you weren't present before, quickly I'll summarize in 2-3 lines. Actually, since time immemorial, there are two forces in this world, divine and demoniac. The nature of divine is to align with the Lord and also cooperate with other living beings. That's the nature of the divine. And the demoniac means rebel against the Lord and quarrel with other living beings. They're just the opposite. So we call this principle as a conformity and unity principle. Conformity with Lord and unity with all. Huh? So then one is divine. But one who is demoniac, they don't have conformity with the Lord. They say that, why I don't care for God? I am God. Everything revolves around me. Everyone should be at my beck and call. I worked hard and I grew in my life. And that kind of thought process they have. So, on the divine side, there were Pandavas. And the Pandavas' father, Pandu, he died in the forest. So they were fatherless children. Along with their mother, Kunti, they returned to the palace as small children. That is Pandavas. And Pandava's father was Pandu, and Pandu's elder brother, Dhritarashtra, was a blind man who had to take the rule because there was no one to rule the kingdom. So he took the rule. But the understanding was, he is blind, the Pandus, his brother's sons are small now. When they grow up, he will hand over the post to them. That was the understanding. But then when the Pandavas grew up, by the time, along with the Dhritarashtra, the blind king, his greed also grew up. He thought, why should my brother's sons become the king? Let my son Duryodhana become the king. Like that he thought. Therefore, what happened subsequently? Dhritarashtra and his son Duryodhana, they were attached to the post, the kingdom. And this is the nature of this world where we are living. There is envy, there is jealousy, there is greed. People look at one another that if you have little more than me, then I become greedy of you. Or if I have little more than you, you become greedy of me. These are the impurities in the mind in this world. And people are not happy and satisfied. In the spiritual world, however, people see everybody as a servant of God, child of God. And they are happy with everybody. And because they are happy with God, they don't count in terms of material possessions in the spiritual world. Whereas in this world, everybody counts in terms of money, in terms of land, in terms of women. The women I possess, the land I possess, gold I possess, bank balance I possess, name, fame, glory that I will get. These things become very important in this world because they are godless. Actually, when we carry God in our heart, these things become insignificant for us. So, the Pandavas were supposed to rule the kingdom. However, the Kauravas was headed by Duryodhana, son of Dhritarashtra. He wanted to cheat the Pandavas and drive them away, take away their kingdom. Further, he did many things. At one time, he fed poison to one of the Pandava brothers, whose name was Bhima. The second one, Bhima. Bhima was very hefty and very powerful. So Duryodhana always considered Bhima a great threat because Bhima was the strongest amongst the 5 Pandavas. In fact, Bhima would eat half the food whenever they would get. Other half was shared by the other 4 brothers. He was very tall and huge like a tree. So Duryodhana had always fight with him, even as a young boy. One day he fed him poison cake so that Bhima will die, but Bhima didn't die. He fed him poison and threw him in a river. But then Bhima went down, snakes bit him, and the poison got cancelled. Bhima came out with more strength. So later on, they insulted their wife Draupadi in a public assembly by trying to disrobe her, saying that you guys have lost your kingdom by a gambling match. But she was, at that time, Lord Krishna supplied unlimited sari to protect Draupadi in the assembly. That is another scene that happened. And thirdly, they were stripped of their kingdom and driven away to jungle for a period of 12 years. Now 12 years was over and they were supposed to finish one more year called incognito period where Pandavas have to hide themselves somewhere. And if they are found in that 1 year, again they have to go to forest 12 years. That was understanding. But Pandavas successfully completed 12 plus 1, 13 years. Now they returned back and said, please give us our kingdom back. Duryodhana said, no, you will not get. Then Pandava sent Lord Krishna as the messenger and said, if they don't want to give our kingdom back, let them take half. You take half, we take half. That also they didn't agree. Then Yudhishthira said, at least give us 5 villages. We are after all rulers. We will rule 5, brothers will rule 5 villages. Rest of the world you take it. Duryodhana said, no, I can't give you land on even the tip of a needle. That's what he said. At that time, Lord Krishna told Pandavas, these fellows have become unreasonable. They are not even ready to give you a tip of a needle land. Now the war is inevitable. At that time, Lord Krishna said, this is going to be a Dharma Yuddha. Dharma Yuddha means a great war to establish uh, pure spiritual principles, religious principles. All the atrocious kings joined hands with Kauravas and Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra on that side. And all the pious kings, Pandavas and other righteous kings, they joined on this side, Pandava's side, Krishna's side. So Krishna and Pandavas and all others were on this side. So now the war is about to begin. At that time, this question was asked by Dhritarashtra. He's asking, therefore the Bhagavad Gita begins with the Dhritarashtra Uvacha. So, as you see here, why did he ask this question? He was desirous that the battle happen and the Pandavas die. That was his desire. Let these 5 fellows be finished and me and my 100 sons will live happily forever. That was his idea. That was his desire. And he was doubtful about the outcome of the war. Why? Because he thought that this is actually Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra, he says. This Kurukshetra battle is in North India, north of Delhi. You will see that. It's a very holy place. Yeah. So it's a very holy place. I will show you why it is holy. I will show you in the next slide. There are many things that talks about Kurukshetra being a holy place. So he was a little doubtful of the outcome. What can happen? Maybe because if it's a holy place, just like it's going to be more favorable to those who are religious and pious. That was his fear. And he was also fearful whether my sons will win or Pandavas will win. I am thinking that Pandavas can be wiped out, but what if they win and my sons lose? What will happen to me and my family? That was his thought. But at the same time, he was very hopeful. He thought that Pandavas were in forest for so many years, they don't have anybody to assist them. My sons have got so many allies. That was his idea. See here, it says here. It says that Yad Anu Kurukshetram Devanam Devayajanam. It says, which means it's a place of sacrifice for the Devatas. And it is a place for the Devatas, it says. So it's the Jabala Upanishad says that it is a very, very holy place. So he was considering that. And also, see here he is thinking of 2 people in the mind. In the picture you see in the middle, that is Dhritarashtra, the king. On one side he is thinking of, right side you see, on the left side you see he is thinking of Duryodhana and Uncle Chakuni. They all are holding the gold coins and they want to loot the wealth and the property of the whole world. On the other side you find the 5 Pandavas along with their wife Draupadi and Krishna. You find they actually are virtuous ones. So it's a war between virtue and vice. It's a war between righteous people and irrighteous people. You find. It's a war between divine and demoniac. Yeah. And then, so here one very important point comes here in this verse. As you see in the picture here, you see, of course, Dhritarashtra has his sons, blood sons, but his brother's sons also should be treated like his own sons. Is it not true? After all, they are fatherless. But that's not the way Dhritarashtra treated them. In the very first verse, he's saying, Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. He's saying, my sons and my brother Pandu's sons. So he is making a division. In the very first verse you find. This is what I call as, from me to we consciousness. So, as you see in the paddy field, the rice crops are grown, but all the weeds are pulled out. Correct, no? Like that, Lord Krishna, who is a supreme divinity, supreme Lord, he conducts this battle. Why? He wants to uproot all the demoniac people. And for the divine people, he wants to establish the worldly kingdom. Yes, Honor, you have a question? Please tell me. Yeah, your hand is up. Go ahead. Any question? You see, Vedant Prabhu, he has a question. One hand is up now.
Yes, I can say that. I'm trying to unmute.
You can unmute him? Yeah. Please go ahead. Yeah. Okay, there's no question. So see, Devaraj Indra benedicted King Kuru as a place where anyone who leaves the body will reach heavenly planets. That's one blessing for Kurukshetra, you see. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, this land is named after King Kuru. And the great sage Mudgala and Prithu Maharaj, they all performed austerities and yajnas here in Kurukshetra. These are all the things which talk about the Kurukshetra being a holy place. You see, now Kurukshetra is important for us. Why? Because Lord Krishna is personally present. And he is conducting this battle and destroying the demoniac forces and establishing. He says that in the Gita. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. He says, I appear in this world. Why? To establish the religious principles and to destroy the demoniac and to protect the divine. Like that he says. That's what he did in this battle. Now I am going to give you some examples. See this picture. Some of you from the West, you might not have heard this pastime, so I'm going to tell you briefly. On the left side, what you find is one time what happened when the Pandavas were spending their 12 years in the forest. At that time, Duryodhana decided to make some pleasure bungalows by the side of the river and enjoy by putting music and dance and everything to irritate the Pandavas living in the forest. He thought that if they see me enjoying, by looking at me enjoying, they will perish. He thought like that. But the place where he wanted to make those bungalows or the buildings, that place belonged to celestial people called Gandharvas. So when this fellow, not caring for them, their proprietorship, he made this bungalows to stay there and enjoy with all his women and everybody he brought. So those Gandharvas from the higher planets came down, they waged a war and they captured Duryodhana. He was held a captive. That's what you see in the picture here. Duryodhana is on his hands and knees, and the Gandharvas were planning to capture them and take them all, arrest and take them to their planet and put them in jail. At that time, Yudhishthira Maharaj was on the other side. The Pandavas were on the other side. They were performing some worship of the Lord. So they saw the situation and immediately he told Arjuna, go and save our brother, Duryodhana. So when he said that, Arjuna and Bhima were wondering, this fellow has been inimical to us and Yudhishthira is telling us to save. So at that time Yudhishthira said, see, they are 100, we are 5. But if there is a family problem, we are 105. That was the consciousness of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yes, Jacob, go ahead. Yes, Jacob? Can you unmute and speak?
Here.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
When you said celestial beings, what type or what would the equivalent be? Like, are they say like angels or like demigods?
Yeah, you are right. You are right. Gandharvas are like angels. They have a very handsome body. They have curly hair. They have sweet singing abilities. They are singers. They are musicians. Actually, in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is given in which plane, which type of celestial beings live. That's given there. In different planes, different type of celestial beings live. We call it as Om, Bhuho, Bhoha, Swaha, Amaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. There are different 7 planetary systems. So these are in the top 3 planetary systems. We have some of these beings living there. They look like human beings only, but they have many other abilities which we don't possess.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, yeah. Otherwise, Jacob, you find it easy to understand this Pandavas and Kauravas? You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So, you all understand what I am saying. How Yudhishthira Maharaj did not see that we are Pandavas, they are 100 Kauravas. He didn't see like that. He said, we are one family. He thought like that. He said, they are 100, we are 5. But when family is in trouble, we are 105. Go immediately and save Duryodhana. So, immediately Arjuna went to the other side and defeated the Gandharvas and drove them away. And then he brought Duryodhana back, and Duryodhana was grateful. So, in the same manner, this is what I am saying. See, Arjuna saved Duryodhana when Gandharvas had captured and arrested Duryodhana. So Yudhishthira's consciousness, you can see, Yudhishthira doesn't see we are different, they are different. He's seeing everybody as his own brother. And here another story here. One time there was a yaksha in a river. Yaksha is a ogre, we call it in English, O-G-R-E, ogre. So this ogre was living in a lake, and when Pandavas went to drink water, this ogre said, "Don't touch the water unless you get my permission first." So one by one, Bhima went, and Arjuna went, and Nakula went, Sahadeva went, 4 Pandavas went. None of them cared for the ogre. They said, "Hey, if you are confident, come in front of us and fight a battle with us. Don't hide behind somewhere and speak like this." And not seeing him in the front, they drank the water and at once they died. As you see in the picture, all are dead. All the 4 brothers are dead. Finally, Yudhishthira Maharaj comes, the eldest of the Pandavas. When he came there, the ogre stopped him also. He said, "Wait a minute, all your 4 brothers are dead. If you don't wish to die, don't touch the water." So Yudhishthira didn't touch the water. He said, "What do you want me to do?" He said, "If you answer my questions, then I will let you drink water." So he asked 120 questions and very beautiful question answers. It's called as Yaksha Prashna in Mahabharata. After answering all the questions, and the ogre was completely satisfied, he said, "You can take one of your brothers." So now Yudhishthira thought which brother to ask. See, these 5 Pandavas, 3 of them were from the first mother of, first wife of King Pandu. Pandu had 2 wives, Kunti and Madri. Kunti had 3 sons and Madri had 2 sons. The first 3 were Kuntis. The next 2 were Madri's, second wife. So he was thinking that for Kunti mother, I am already there. So for Madri mother, the last 2 children, one of them I should ask. So he asked for Nakula. So the ogre was amazed. "How is it that you are asking for the youngest of the brothers? Why didn't you take Arjuna or Bhima?" Then he said, "No, I want to show equanimity. I want to show equal behavior to both the mothers. For one mother I am there, for the other mother he should be there." So the ogre was so pleased, he gave all the 4 brothers to him back. Again, this is an example of how one can give up I consciousness, I, me, mine consciousness, and be befriending everyone else. Here is another story in the Bhagavatam we read. Here is a king, he had 2 queens. This is another king, his name is Uttanapada. So one queen was with good character, another queen was good looking. So imagine if somebody were to choose a wife, most students, when their mother shows photo of different girls, will they choose a girl who is good looking or one with good qualities? Generally, which one they choose? Good looking, correct now? People go for a good looking wife, correct now? So she was a good looking lady, but she was a harsh lady, like that. The another lady was a very well mannered lady, but she was not so good looking. Her name was Suniti. So her son was Dhruva. Suniti's son was Dhruva, Suruchi's son was Uttam. So here in the picture you see, both these children went to sit on the lap of their father. So when they sat, the good-looking wife's son sat. The other boy wanted to sit, but that good-looking lady, she didn't allow. She said, "You are not born from my womb. Get lost from here. If you want to be allowed to sit on your father's lap, you should die now and again be reborn in my womb." Like that she said. You see the picture, the boy is crying, he is driven out. He is driven out by the stepmother. So then he went to his mother and cried, and mother said, "Don't worry, my child. Don't harbor any malice for your stepmother. If you actually want to achieve great success in life, you go to the forest and see God face to face, Lord Vishnu. See him, and then he can give you any boon you want." So in this way, in this pastime, you will find she also showed that me consciousness, and she didn't treat her co-wife's child as her own child. She didn't treat that. So now let us come to a practical application in our lives. What divides us? See here, sometimes there are 2 religions fighting, Hindu versus Muslim, as is shown here. See, in a Hindu's body also the same Atma, the soul is present. In a Muslim's body also same soul is present. Yeah, you find there is no I mean, difference between a Hindu soul and a Muslim soul. Soul is occupying a living body, isn't it? Similarly, you find the fight between whites and blacks. Whether we have a fair skin or a black skin, the soul is servant of God in both the bodies. Similarly, rich versus poor, educated versus illiterate. People make these differences based on superficial understanding. Beautiful versus ugly. But the body is simply a dress over the soul. The body is temporary dress. This dress also keeps getting older and older and older. One day this body perishes. So on the other hand, you find Europeans, Chinese, whites, blacks, everybody together, they come together like we were singing the mantra in the beginning. Actually, we had a procession in India. 120 countries came. People from 120 countries came and they were singing the Hare Krishna mantra. They accept the philosophy that we are all children of God. And God is one supreme capital G-O-D. And we are all His children. And we respect everybody irrespective of their skin color, their race, their nationality, their gender. Even we respect the animals and birds and insects and reptiles because in all their bodies also same type of soul is the prime mover in their bodies. So therefore, when you become a lover of God, you will not harm even an ant. Because even in the ant's body, there is the same type of soul present who is driving the ant's body. He is the prime mover of the body. See here, Srila Prabhupada, he went to America and he went and stayed in the Bowery with the hippies. And he sang the Hare Krishna mantra and brought them out of all bad habits. He did not see that they are degraded people and they are drug addicts and they are drunkards and all that. He completely gave himself to bringing them to the standard of becoming pure lovers of God, you see. And that's how our movement started. Picking up from there, it went all over the world subsequently. So that was actually what I am supposed to finish yesterday. I mean, in the previous class, I couldn't finish. And today's class is this one, aligned with the sacred Lord, not with one's crooked thoughts. So, see here, Duryodhana is showing the army. And now, what is this crooked thought I have mentioned here? This is a crooked thought of Duryodhana. And who aligned with sacred Lord? That is Pandavas. You will see that. So Pandavas aligned with the sacred Lord, but Duryodhana was absorbed in crooked thoughts. And what are his crooked thoughts? That you will see in today's session now. See, he is showing to Dronacharya, who was a very great warrior in his battle. He is telling, Paschaitam Pandaputranam Acharya Mahatim Chamum Vyudham Drupada Putrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata. He is telling that, you see, on the Pandava side, there is one fellow called Drishtadyumna. And Drishtadyumna is Drupada's son. Actually, Drupada had one son, one daughter, Drishtadyumna and Draupadi. And Draupadi was married to Pandavas. So naturally, Drishtadyumna was favorable to Pandavas. He was on the side of the Pandavas. But it was predicted beforehand that Drishtadyumna will be the cause of the death of Dronacharya. And Drona is on the side of Duryodhana and Kauravas. Nevertheless, Dronacharya agreed to take Drishtadyumna as a student and trained him in his martial arts skills. So here Duryodhana is pointing out, you made a mistake of accepting this fellow in your training program because he is on the enemy's side. Why did you train him? You should not have trained. But what is Dronacharya's answer? He is a martial arts teacher. Anyone who is skilled, ready to come and learn the talent and go, he is ready to teach. In those days, the class of teachers called as Brahmanas, they were completely impartial to everybody. So therefore he taught, but now he is pointing out, oh great Acharya, Dronacharya, Tava Shishyena Dhimata, remember that he became your Shishya, now he is going to kill you in the battle. So be cautious, he is telling. Sugriv, go ahead. Tell me. You have a question?
Mistake will happen. Sorry, Prabhu.
No problem. So, so Duryodhana, although he is the king, Now he is thinking that I will go one by one to all the great warriors and meet them. Instead of me waiting and sitting in my seat and let them come and meet me, I will go and meet them. So he's going to meet one by one. And first he pointed out the mistake of Dronacharya and told him to be cautious. That fellow is your enemy. He is actually aiming to kill you. So be careful. So now he is going to describe here. See, he is describing the warriors in the Pandavas army. So Duryodhana is a very diplomatic king. So he wants to study the army very strategically and see how they can be finished. Atra shura maheshwasa Bhima Arjuna samayudhi Yudhano viratascha Drupadascha maharatah. Yeah, he's quoting the names now. He is actually saying about Bhima and Arjuna because he knew that these two are very powerful personalities. See, in the Pandavas, the eldest one is Yudhishthir, and his speciality is he is filled with godliness, saintliness, and religious principles. That is the first brother, Yudhishthir, eldest of all, and guide of all the other four Pandavas. And second one is Bhima. He is known for raw strength. He can carry two Pandavas here, and run in the forest. He had a huge body. Bhima was very mighty and powerful. And he had raw strength, but not so much good in skills. He was not very sharp and skilled, but he had a raw strength, Bhima. Arjuna was very skilled in especially archery, in fighting with the bow and arrow. He was so dexterous, ambidextrous, it is said. He can fight with this arm, and he can keep the bow and fight with this arm also. Some of you may be lefties, right? Any of you lefties here, right with left hand? We have a couple of them right with left hand, 4 of them right with left hand. But they may not be comfortable writing with right hand, correct, no? On the other hand, those of you write with right hand can write with left hand? It's difficult. But Arjuna could actually send arrows from both sides like this. He can hold the bow in right hand and send like this. So it's called Savyasachi. He was very expert. So therefore, he is worrying about these two fellows, Bhima and Arjuna. The second and third brothers are very mighty. They are the biggest stumbling blocks, he feels. See, now he is going to name the more further warriors. He is going to name now, one by one. Drishtaketushche kitanaha Kasirajascha viryavan Purujit kunti bhojascha Shabhyascha narapungavaha. So now he is telling more warriors' names here. You can see one by one I am showing you. Drishtaketu, he was son of Shishupal. Actually, Shishupal was against Lord Krishna, but he was not against Pandavas. Actually, he was against Krishna because he wanted to marry one woman, Rukmini, but she wanted to marry Krishna. So she married Krishna, so Shishupal became envious of Krishna. But Shishupal's son, his name is Drishtaketu, he was favorable to Pandavas and he agreed to fight on the side of Pandavas. So, in the battle, he was killed by Dronacharya in the battle later on. But he was siding with Pandavas, Drishtaketu. And Chekitana is who? He is one of the Krishna's Yadu dynasty Vrishnis. And he was actually one of the commanders-in-chief in Pandava army. He was a very powerful, mighty warrior. And Kashi Raja is the king of Kashi. And Purujit, Kunti, Bhoja, they were brothers of Kunti. And Shaibya was the father-in-law of Maharaj Yudhishthir. He was a Maharati, means he can fight with hundreds of rathas, hundreds of chariots. So these are all names of warriors on the Pandava side. So he is assessing the enemy now. One by one he is calculating who are the enemies and how mighty they are, how powerful they are. He is calling the names. Yudhamanyuscha Vikranta Uttamaujascha Viryavan Saubhadro Draupadeyascha Sarva Eva Maharataha. See, a Maharatha is written here, you see below. Maharatha can fight alone with 10,000 archers. He's called Maharati. Maharati means if 10,000 people with bow and arrow are attacking him, he will sit in one chariot and he can finish all of them. Can you imagine how mighty he must be? Similarly, Atiratha means he can fight with unlimited troops or between generally 1,000 to 10,000, beginning with 1,000. So Atirati means 1,000, Maharati means 10,000 archers he can fight with. And a Rati means he fights with one chariot. One on one he fights like that. So he is quoting here the names you see. Saubhadro Draupadeyascha, he says. So in the right side picture you are watching, this is actually Arjuna's son. His name is Abhimanyu. When he was a young boy, lad, only 16-year-old boy, when he went to fight in the battle, 7 enemy commanders, big commanders, jointly in an irreligious way, illegal way, against the codes of the war, they jointly hit him. They fought against him and they finished him. Actually, only one-on-one one should fight, in duel fight. But so he was so mighty, Arjuna's son. So in this way, he's quoting different people's names. See, now he is going to describe his own warriors now. Till now he described the enemy's warriors. Now he's going to describe his own warriors now. Asmakam tu vasishtaye tani bodha dvijottama nayaka mama sainyasya sanyartam tan bravimite. Now I'll tell the names of our fellows, who are all very powerful fellows on our side. So he's quoting the names like Bhishma, Karna, Kripacharya, Vikarna, Saunadatti, Jayadratha, Kritavarma, Shalya. Like that he's quoting names. So one by one he's going to describe now. See, he is telling, Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samitinjayaha Ashwattama Vikarnascha Saumadittis Tataivacha. Yeah. So first is quoting Bhavan, means he's telling Dronacharya yourself, and secondly he's saying Bhishmascha, and then Karna. These 3 are the prominent people in Duryodhana's army. Dronacharya is martial arts teacher, and Bhishma is uncle of Dhritarashtra. That means Dhritarashtra's father's brother is Bhishma. You can imagine. Very old. His oldest personality in the entire Kuru race. In the picture you see him. His name is Bhishma. He's a very, very elderly and great warrior. For the Pandavas, he is grandsire. So it is said he is like equal to 25,000 Arjunas, it is said. He is very, very mighty personality. So he is quoting his name. So the Drona, Bhishma and Karna. Karna you all know. Karna was actually the eldest of the Pandavas. Abhay Yudhishthira Maharaj was Karna, but when he was born new baby, he was put in a box and he was floated in a river. And he was not aware of his identity as who he was. Later on he comes to know from Mother Kunti that I belong to Pandavas. But he is refusing to leave Duryodhana. He sides with Duryodhana only. So therefore Karna is also very mighty. Bhishma is mighty and Dronacharya is mighty. In this way he is quoting. And also while quoting these great names, he is quoting Vikarna. Vikarna is one of the 100 fellows. One of the 100 brothers of Duryodhana. Why is he quoting Vikarna? Because Vikarna was the one who protested against Duryodhana when Duryodhana wanted to disrobe Pandava's wife Draupadi in the public. He protested. And Vikarna was also planning to become a defector. Defector means he wanted to leave the Kauravas and go to Pandava's side. So he wanted to hold his brother on his side. So he quoted his name. Although he was a small man, he quoted his name along with Bhishma and Karna and all those big people, just to encourage him, which shows his diplomacy. He was very diplomatic and cunning and intelligent, you see. See, many powerful warriors are ready to lay down their lives for me, he's saying. Madarte Takta Jivita, he's saying. Anyeta Bhagava Shura Madarte Takta Jivitaha Nana Shastra Praharanaha Sarve Yuddha Visharadaha. All these soldiers on my side don't think they are ordinary. For my sake, they will lay down their life. And they have intense courage and they have intense affection for me. And they have great knowledge of fighting. Like that he is telling is very proud of his people also. Aparyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishma virakshitam paryaptam tidametesham balam bhima virakshitam. Yeah, there are 2 meanings in this. One is, see the box below, Duryodhana compared Bhishma and Bhima. Bhishma is actually great general of a grandfather. He is much more experienced in battle, and Bhima is less experienced compared to him. So they are protected by Bhima, we are protected by Bhishma. We are great, like that he was telling. That's the meaning. And now he is going to appeal to other warriors. After praising Bhishma, he thought that the other warriors may feel that he has neglected us. He is only praising Bhishma all the time. So then he is telling others, see, Bhishma is an old man. Huh? You all are youngsters, young fellows. So you protect Bhishma. Like that he tells them also. Ayaneshu sarveshu yada bhagam avastitaha Bhishma eva abhirakshantu bhavantaha sarvayevahi. He's a very great diplomat. Army people should not feel bad. So he's requesting them, please protect our grandfather. Bhishma is very old and he needs support of all of you. Like that he says. Huh? Yeah. And he's pretty confident with Bhishma and Drona and Karna and my army men, I can win. He was calculating in that way. Most important thing comes in this slide you see here. See, Duryodhana, while evaluating, one very important person he missed out. Who is that? Krishna. See here, I written this point. In counting and missing, he misses Krishna while counting everyone else. Yeah. Actually, why he did not count Krishna? Can any of you tell me? Online, I want to hear. Any of you in the online? Vedant Prabhu, can you unmute all of them if they wish to answer? Why he missed out Krishna? He didn't include Krishna while talking about different warriors. Anybody?
Unmute.
Anybody speaking there?
He wasn't participating.
Yeah, who is saying that? I am not able to see.
Actually, I unmuted all, so
you can unmute them. Yeah. Yes.
Alec is speaking, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, he wasn't participating in the war.
Yes. Krishna told that I am not going to lift any weapon because both Kaurava side, Pandava side are related to me. Because Krishna's mother, Kunti, if you see, Krishna's mother, Krishna's father, Vasudev, he was actually brother of Pandava's mother, Kunti. Correct, no? Pandava's mother is Kunti. She is sister of Krishna's father. So therefore he said, I am related to Pandavas also. And I am also related to Kauravas also. So both sides are related to me, so I will not fight in the battle. I will just be a charioteer, like that Krishna had said. So what he thought, Duryodhana thought, anyway Krishna is not going to lift any weapon, useless fellow, I have no problem, he thought. Little did he know, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is conducting this battle. Without his permission, not even a blade of grass can move. He just doesn't know that. Because of that goes to show what an ignoramus Duryodhana is. So this is the way the materialistic people in this world calculate. Materialistic person always thinks how much bank balance I have, what a kind of big bungalow I have built, I have got the costliest cars, and I am flying all over the world, I am a big businessman, and I have made so much money, and so many people are after me, I am so popular. When he's thinking like that, suddenly a massive heart attack comes, and then he's catching his chest, and before he is reached to the hospital, he is dead, and leaving behind all his property, the bungalow, the car, and he is not going to enjoy them, someone else is going to enjoy them. But you can see the materialist always thinks in terms of his material possessions, correct now? So Duryodhana is always thinking in terms of material calculation. He doesn't see the spiritual component at all. Because such materialists, they don't know about the soul. They don't know about God. They don't know about the meaning and purpose of life. So that's the problem with the materialist. See below I have written here. Materialistic conception is to work hard and get result. Why to worship some god or go to temple? Duryodhana was very blind. Actually, Dhritarashtra was physically blind. Duryodhana was spiritually blind. Yeah. We don't see things as they are. We see things as they matter to us. For Duryodhana, non-combatant is non-contributor. A non-contributor is a non-entity. That's when I got this line from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. He's very famous for his words. So he says that, he's not going to be a combat for us. That means he's a non-contributor in the battle, Krishna. And when he's non-contributor, non-entity, I don't care a fig for him. He thought like that. And little did he know that just like, for example, I am wearing this, what do you call it, mala, you see here. In this garland you will find here, inside this there's a nylon thread. Can you see it? You can't see it. But without the presence of that, can this remain like this? Imagine if somebody removes that nylon thread, the whole thing will get carried away. So Krishna is like that. Krishna is the underlying thread. Krishna says that in the Gita. So he could not see that, you see. Because such people like him think, I am the controller, I am perfect, I am powerful, I will defeat my enemies and I will enjoy life. They think like that always. They are ready to adopt any illegal means. They don't care for God or His laws. They live like that. So that's what is the prominent thing I mentioned here. If you see the Pandavas and Kauravas, these few slides will show you their mentality and mindset. You can see here. See the Kauravas, the Duryodhana, he sent Karna on a country-wide military mission during the 12 years when Pandavas in the forest. They actually lost both men and money and they created new enemies. On the other hand, if you see Pandavas, they did not waste the 12 years. You can see that Arjuna went to heavenly planets and got some powers, Divyastras. Bhima also met Hanuman and took Hanuman to his side to participate in the battle by staying in the flag. And Yudhishthir, he also met many saintly people and acquired many good teachings. And he also learnt to play that dice game more expertly now. So they didn't waste that time, you will see that. Similarly, if you see Kauravas, they had a centralized power system where there was only one commander-in-chief. Whereas if you see Pandavas, they had diversity. They had many powerful allies, if you see. You see, Arjuna married Krishna's sister, Subhadra. So they got Dwaraka allies, their Magadha allies, Chedi allies, Kashi, Kekaya, Matsya, Rakshasas, Nagas. So they had a dozen new allies when they were living in the forest. So one should know how to make allies and increase one's friendship. Whereas Kauravas actually, they were a big empire undoubtedly, but they had very few allies. And similarly, there was no team spirit in Kauravas, if you see. Bhishma was not liking Karna, and Bhishma and Shakuni, uncle of Duryodhana, was also a very diplomatic fellow. He didn't like. Karna and Shalya had a trouble, or they all had ego tussles. Whereas in Pandavas, one team and one goal. They had huge respect for Krishna, huge respect for Yudhishthira Maharaj also. There was no internal clash in Pandava's side. So, here Lord Krishna is telling in the Gita, the whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will, it is annihilated at the end. He says this. And it is said in the scriptures that Krishna says that when he wants to create, he expands himself as Mahavishnu and creates millions of universes. Then he enters into each universe. And in each universe, again, he creates his first son, Brahma, through whom he educates all the living beings. Then he enters into the heart of all living beings. So this is what we call as omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, we call. First he creates millions of universes, then he enters into each universe, then he enters into each atom as well as each heart of all living beings. Like that. This is said in this verse. Vishnostu treni rupani purushakhyanyato viduhu ekam tu mahatah srishtir pritiyam tu anda samstitam titiyam sarva bhutastam tani nyatva vimuchyate. This says about this Lord Krishna, how he creates everything in this world. We say that God said, let there be light, and there was light. God said, let there be earth, there was earth. So that is also correct. But here it gives more detail about how he creates million universes first and enters into each universe, and then he creates Brahma in the lotus, as you see in the middle picture. And then he enters into heart of all living beings. In this way, God is present everywhere. So he enters into each planet by his energy and sustains them in the orbit, respective places, he says. And he says, in this world, whatever beautiful things you see, whatever colorful things you see, the sweetness of the cuckoo, or the beauty of the peacock, or all these things, he says that they are all coming from a spark of my splendor. And I am the essence of everything, he says. Like the juices, you find the taste. I am the taste. I am the heat and light of the sun, he says. I am the light of the moon by which I supply the juices into all the fruits. I am the intelligence of the intelligent. Buddhir buddhimatamasmi. This is Newton sitting under the tree. The apple fell on his head. And he immediately realized that why the apple is coming down, not going up. So who gave him the intelligence to ask that question? Krishna says, God gives him I gave the intelligence, he says. Yeah. So I am the strength of the strong, he says. The strong fellow is very strong now, but he says, Lord says, I am supplying him the strength. Otherwise, he can't be like this. So here is an atheistic demon. His name is Hiranyakashipu. You find, so he was a die-hard atheist, and his son Prahalad was a great theist, great devotee of God. So this fellow never believed that God exists anywhere. He said God is nowhere. His son was a great devotee of God. So he put a line between nowhere and said, God is now here. So one day he threatened his son that I will take my sword and slit your throat today. Let me see the God whom you are talking about. Let him come from wherever he is. So he took his sword and went running, dashing upon his son Prahalad, 5-year-old boy. Of course, what do you think Prahalad would have done? If any of us were there, probably would have run from the back door, isn't it? At least he would have cried. At least he would have shouted. At least he would have called for the police. Or he would have taken another sword to retaliate back. None of it was done by Prahalad. He was just standing like a pillar without any movement. He just prayed to the Lord and remembered him. And then the father asked, my son, don't cheat me. Tell me, is he present in this pillar? He asked. And the son said, why not? Lord is present in every atom. He is present in your heart, my heart, anywhere. Why not? He certainly is in the pillar. So the father hid the pillar. And when he hid the pillar, as you see here, a very strange form of God came, who has a body like a human and head like a lion. Because this fellow had done severe austerities, and this Hiranyakashipu, show the picture now. He had done austerities and got a boon where he said, no human can kill me, no animal can kill me. And God, nobody should kill me inside the palace or outside the palace. Nobody should kill me on the sky or on the land. Like that he had got boon. Not in the daytime, not in the night time. So God came in this form, where he had a lion-like face and human-like body. Nobody has seen such a form. And he caught Hiranyakashipu in the hand, you see here. And he took him to the entrance of the palace, which was neither inside nor outside. And he put him on his lap, which was neither ground nor sky. And he killed him not in the daytime, not in the night time. He came in the twilight time. So, therefore, God, nobody can cheat God. So, yeah, sound is coming. See, he came from the pillar.
Yes, bro, we can hear.
So he tore open his belly and finished him. And Prahalad, his son, is garlanding him. You will see that. So he's still roaring. So we have completed the session. We went a little late. Yeah. So this is the next session, next week. Ask for God's company or his pocket's penny. That's the next session. So now, if you have any questions, have you all sent me any questions? Whoever is sending me mail, I am responding back. Generally speaking. So I wanted to hear 1 or 2 sentences from all of you. You found it easy today? Whatever I spoke? Jacob, can you say one thing? What hit you hard today you heard well? You can unmute yourself and speak.
Can you hear me?
Yeah? I can hear you. I can hear.
The stories, I think, are always my favorite. Actually, that last story that you told about the demon is one I've studied before. And the Pandavas and Kauravas, I just started reading the Gita, so I was right at the part where he was describing both armies.
Yes.
So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay, very good. So you understand well about the divine and demoniac?
Yes, I do.
The two mentalities you understand well, isn't it? So what was Duryodhana's mindset? What did you understand about his mindset today?
I mean, even from my own personal experience, I've had a lot of the more negative side of things, like the materialistic side of things, and just that kind of thought process, I guess. I actually used to be an atheist myself until I found that that wasn't actually answering any of the questions that I had.
You are very honest about yourself. Actually, we all have angel and animal within us, and we have to feed the angel and drive out the animal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. And Ligon, would you like to say something? Mr. Ligon? Yeah, your smile shows you understand something. You can also speak, unmute yourself and speak.
I'm just listening fervently. I'm actually at work.
Yeah, please.
I said I'm just actually listening fervently. I'm at work.
Okay, you found it easy what I spoke today?
Yes, I did. I did.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very enlightening.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wishes to say one or two things? What about Ogun? Last time Ogun asked many questions, I remember.
Peace and love.
Yeah. How do you find Ogun? Yeah, see, this first chapter contains many details like this. But once we enter into second chapter, then it's all philosophy and discussions that would be much more easier for us. But right now we are hearing the details of the two sides and everything. But once Krishna and Arjuna start speaking, it's all only Krishna and Arjuna. But what they are talking, the content will be very much inspiring to us and it will be practically helpful in our daily life. But I wanted to know, Ogun, what do you feel? Is it easy what I am speaking?
Okay, so it felt amazing because this is actually my second time hearing it, and like just hearing it, it's like from you guys singing the chants and actually singing the Sanskrit. Because the first time reading it, we only did English, so it's like that was a little I could feel. But you guys singing the songs, I felt it. I felt the words of the Bhagavad Gita versus just reading it and understanding it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. What is one thing you captured today, in essence? What is being emphasized?
One thing I captured is the duality, the higher and lower nature of self. Just, really just being able to just see yourself in that duality and be able to come to terms with yourself and your higher self, your lower nature.
Correct.
And to strive for the higher.
Exactly. You captured the essence of the talk. Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else wishes to say one last statement, comment? Anybody wishes to make? Any of you? Okay. So we will meet Onkar and Onkar Abhinasha, is it?
Yes, sir, Avinash.
Yes. Onkar Abhinash.
What I have learned in today's lesson is, you have heard about Duryodhana, right?
Yes.
He had a huge army and a huge kingdom. He thought that that will be fine to kill Pandavas. But Pandavas have nothing, but they have built an allies with other kingdom people, small kingdoms.
Okay. So you understood that.
That's what I learned. You should not be done with what you have. You should improve your strength as you can.
Okay, thank you. So I have exceeded the time today. So we shall meet next Sunday, same time we will meet. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. So I couldn't do the meditation japa this time. Next time I will keep some time for it. Towards the end we will do that. Now can we sing 2 minutes and conclude with the same kirtan which we did in the beginning? We'll conclude with the Dvarta Mridanga. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody together. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki